you really want to stay in, because justice is coming with something very important for our end. So colleagues, please, tomorrow I need you back here. Okay, I think you want to come back because I want to be your program director tomorrow. So that is the end of the day today for me. But I will still come in tomorrow. I will still be here, because if they don't do it right, I will jump in again. So let's do the discussion items. I'm going to remind you of the people that spoke here, and then you probably recap the whole thing. Ravi spoke on sunrise processes and systems. You'll remember Ravi's engagement with yourselves. He laid out exactly how the road infrastructure looks like, how are we comparable to other countries, and what have we got as a stock in our books against the budgets that are allocated to us, and what is our interest in terms of optimally address the issue of a superior road network in South Africa. Then after Urazi, we had Mangaliso. Mangaliso dwelt on the structures. He spoke extensively on what you should be knowing and what you should be engaging yourselves with. He reminded you of everything that is in the contract document that speaks to how you should be doing your inspections. I'm not sure whether the forms he was showing here, you know them, or you've seen them before, or you've even used them. I think we need to take if there is anything to end. And we spoke on slopes, spoke on that critical thinking in terms of finding out what is the root cause. I don't know how many times, I've never sat through a session where somebody used the word root cause the way Andrew used it. Almost every sentence equated to the root cause. And it made me think if I've been doing root causes in my life, but I will engage that at night. Again, we're laughing. I don't know what's happening. My life has been a mess, so I must check exactly. I must check exactly if I've been doing root causes of this mess. But it's too late now to correct it. It looks like a factory fault already, so I'm just going to play the factory fault and go on. Then Krishna, well, I don't know. Krishna looked at you guys and determined where your IQ level is and decided to play with you and transmit the message of playing with you. I hope you understood where he was leading you. With all the cards, the pole dancing Sam was doing here. By the way, when Sammy does that, you need to give her money. She doesn't do it for free. Okay, so you still owe Sammy that. Then there was Sebo. You see, this one was very serious. This one you don't have, we'll get to jail. I still have to see the judge that will have a nerve to pronounce a penalty for 10 million rand. Because the next question that will come from me when he says, no, sir, I'm filing you 10 million, I'll say, have you ever seen 10 million? Have you never seen that? You know? So, but that is important, colleagues, because sometimes these things, if they want the 10 million, they will find a spot where the 10 million will come from. You know, when they talk about respondents in a summon, and they say you are a first respondent, the second respondent, and the third respondent, they are not doing that for playing. That's not Kenneth Felix that thing. They know very well if one doesn't pay, the second one, you will go for that one. The third one should have money. And Ravi just mentioned that we've got millions. So we should be able to cover the 10 million. You see? So these are the things that, and then if you put me in a position whereby I must go and defend 10 million, but you as a contractor, you don't even have it, you will start by saying, why did you transgress? Because you will answer the judge, but you will also answer me outside. Why you started this? Because now we are in trouble, the two of us. And then we moved on to Kone. Guys, the concession contracts, we can't pay what we've learned from them. There's so much that they have put out there. Yes, it's understandable. They were working on money that they were able to get the bonds and all those kind of things. But the process of implementation in this 30-year cycle, it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied, and we need to get the best practices. And I always say, one up those best practices. You know, if they did this, if they were route patrolling 3 times and do this, so do something much better than that when you route patrol. You know, and speak to your project managers. Be innovative. Let those millions that Sedu was talking about reflect on the ground. And the way to make them reflect is when you are innovative about it. So those millions, it's not a problem. SEMI is prepared to pay them, but let's see them on the ground. Let's walk there and see the wow, and keep on saying wow, wow, wow. Then obviously we had CSIR. Remember, they talked about what I think Mangaliso raised, the training. Mangaliso that raised it. No, it was Krishna that raised it. So make sure that you attend. I always believe that people have got to have the hunger to attend courses and be trained. If you've reached a point whereby you don't want to learn, remember we've got places called cemeteries. You can find your way there, because it means you've reached your sell-by date. You've reached your sell-by date. Check your sell-by date. It's normally written at the back of the date. Ask somebody to read it for you. There's a barcode with your sell-by date there. If you do not want to learn, then please do something about it. So the issue of attending the courses they've raised here, do that, because then you will know what you need to do. You will know what you need to do. Project managers that manage this RRM project, keep that as a reminder. You know, your technical meetings, your project meetings, I don't know what you call them when you go to site, do that as a reminder. I know there's standard agendas. The agendas I hate, because people just stick to them as if it's the Bible clauses or whatever. Your agenda should guide you, but in that guidance you should bring things that are going to improve your operations. When you have the technical meeting, know very well that your agenda is not a finite thing. You need to also put something in there that determines your way forward. We know the work you are doing. We know the challenges that you are exposed to. That is why you chose to bid for this contract. When we decided to work for Sandra, you chose to bid for contracts. So live with that. You see. And it's not far, it's not easy even also as project managers in Sandra. Trust me. Some of you won't last a day in Sandra. You will never last a day. I know people that came in and they left in the afternoon with the intention of coming back the following day, and they went AWOL. Because I play. We don't play at Sandra. For those that have been there like Ravi for 30 years, those are bullies of Sandra. They are there because they are bullies. That's why they've sustained bullying and they are now metering bullying to other people. Don't include me then. No, am I good? Yeah, you better say no. Okay, colleagues, anything to what is our take for today's engagement? Somebody speak. And you know, one thing I don't like, I don't like somebody that comes for 3 days into a session and there's nothing that you say in that session. We sit down and you want more time and say nothing. It's wrong. Did half of you understand what I just said? Yes. Half of you, like 50%. I don't think you understood. There's no Africans from the COVID to come from. Okay. Guys, please, I'm going to take hands from this side. Anything that you want, even if it's not a question, the comment about the day. Yes, Amit, you better raise the hand because I know what I want to say. I even know what to say.
Before you pick me out.
Yeah.
Answers, Council. I think one of the things that we need to look at in RIM is the standards that have been set by NPTC. And we've been talking about this for many years. And something that we're going to touch on tomorrow in the consultants do the presentation. But we certainly need to take some standards out of NPTC and put it into the RIM specification to up standards on our roads. And the way we deal with incidents, a lot of it, especially incidents, how we manage it, we need to take out of the NPTC. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go in the back, this row. Anybody from there who's got a comment? And then we'll come to the front. At the back, anything? You don't open your mouth, I'll go for you. You know when I'm supposed to be there by the office. And you know the problems I have with you. You better say something here. Try and get something here.
I think what I would say, Assistant Sadi, the discussion around the electrical, and in fact the electrical part of what we do is a big concern for us. Because we tend to actually have a lot of challenges when we have to play with the contractors as well as the electricians. And those guys, they make us look bad. We try to make the work look good, but I think the other guys will say we're not doing anything. So I think that coordination is very important. The guys must understand that when RRM is running, whatever they bring, they must actually keep the road looking good also. Because I think from you guys, when you look at us and you find stuff, we always say this is not us, this is but it's not supposed to look like that. So you must actually maintain the standards that we try to keep all the time. So that's my view.
And you know, Ravi said something this morning, and I looked at you guys, and nobody said, what are you talking about? Ravi said something, there's some way you put it, Ravi. You said your big contracts, they are pavement demarcated. That's what I think I understood it properly. To say your big contracts look into the pavement issue. And the RRM have got a broader fence-to-fence responsibility. So eventually it means when you come for your pavement, the remaining portion, in other words, the road reserve part, then there's a question mark as to who looks after it. And isn't there a conflict in it? Don't you feel there's a conflict? Now, why did you wait until I say it then? If you pick up, there's a conflict. Because you need to find clarity. You have 3 project managers here. None of you are asking these 2 ladies and gentlemen as to what do we do when Ravi comes into our space. Because this morning he told us that when he comes in, he only looks at the pavement sometimes. Not unless there's something that puts him onto the grass. It's those things that you need to engage. But you know, sometimes, I think when you take engineering, there's something that I have that is of me. I didn't do engineering because I didn't have this of me thing. Okay, let's go to the front. Yes, no leader, you wanted to say something.
My take for the day is I believe that these sessions are good, and I think we need to look at it in an angle where there's more collaboration between DNC and RRM, so that we learn from each other, in terms of best practices, and also how to maintain what has been, designed and from the initial stage. I think for me, for today, that is what I'm seeing, that maybe we need to look at more collaboration and more engagements between the two divisions from my side, from my angle. Thanks.
And another thing, the two of them need to also look at the project managers which are deployed in their contracts. You'll find that you've got a project manager that only does DNC work and probably has never done RRM work. And therefore the information and the engagements in RRM to him, they are not very clear. Then you've got another one that is doing RRM on the is not doing DNC. Again, he's also in that linear thinking of RRM. Then you've got people like Trevor that are existing on both sides. They find a way to make both sides work in one body. Now that, to me, also needs to be studied to say, right from project management level, how do you bring synergy and understanding of all these? It was difficult when we started in the agency, as Ravi indicated. It was a few of us there. So basically, you will be assigned a specific job that you need to do. But the minute you try and speak something innovative to the CEO or to the regional manager, then you've already put yourself in the corner because he says, no, sir, you go do it. But I was just suggesting, I didn't say I want the task. No, you go do it. It's not in my job description. Who said you've got a job description here? Go and work. That was the way we sort of had this. Remember, we had what you call role definitions. And it meant you will do anything you're told to do. That role definition. Okay, let's go to this line. You guys have been quiet here. And I'm looking at the RIMS people. You think you're a force to be reckoned with? Who's raise your hand? Oh, okay, all right.
After everyone, I just wanted to find out with the concession contract, since it's ending in 3 years, is Sunral already got plans on what they're going to do about it? Because when I had communications with Andrew yesterday, he said it takes about 5 years for any tender or anything project related to go through. So I don't know if anyone.
No, we've got a right to remain silent. There is a contract on the ground, there's a concession contract on the ground currently. What happens after that? Will tell us after it has happened. Am I right? Or you want to tell them?
It's above my pay grade.
Yes, this is.
Good afternoon, Santa. I think my question is got like layers to it because it's more than one question, but it's related to one thing, which is the NPTC. So it's one company that's run it for 30 years. And then do you maybe have data of how maybe the first decade was, how the second decade was, and the third decade? What I'm leading to is, do you maybe not think that perhaps the continuity does contribute to how successful it's been?
Ravi, you want to answer that? Because we've seen transitions happen after 5 years. It was their first engagement, 5 years, 7 years, change of shareholding, and going to more maintenance, unable to deploy some of the contracts because of things that are happening. your bypasses, the rejection and all those kind of things. And this is where we are now. I'm sure you've got an exit plan with them where they will share things like this. Give to people.
No, 100%. So over the 30 year, there's a whole implementation plan, as you say. So, for any concession contract, you have initial construction works where they inject capital in there, and that takes 3 to 4 years. And that's when they say initially, because it's 450 kilometers of state road, in fact, then buying this contract from Sandra or from government, although it is an open tender process followed and so forth. And then they take full ownership of the road over the 30 years. So they've got to put together a whole plan, and there's financial closures, and there's a whole lot of things required for concession contracts to be implemented. And then you have a whole plan for, so we meet with them every quarter, every year there's an annual meeting, there's annual inspections. We have an independent engineer that oversees the work on our behalf in terms of the implementation to make sure there's compliance. And over the 30 years, the data is just like, once we have, so we're in the process now, we've got 4 years left. So there's 4 concession contracts, Sandrals. We're really a Sandral, we actually were the original implementers of the whole PPP model in South Africa. So National Treasury actually took our model and implemented that countrywide for hospitals, every other thing. So we're in the process. It's also new to us because our first concession contract now, which is track, it's finishing 3 years time. So it'll be the first. So we're in the process now of going through the handback period, we call it, for concession contracts. And so with the NTTC, we'll start the process in a year or two. In terms also in the concession contract, it sets out for them to hand back that road to the agency after 30 years, it has to be in a certain condition. So they're going through the process and they have the interim milestones in terms of different types of projects, maintenance, capex, all of that, so that by the time after the 30 years, it's given to us in a certain condition, and then in the 30 years, they have to maintain a certain level of service. Which again, when we started off, it was a bit lower than what we currently require. For example, we generally want our level of service C, where the traffic still flows, whereas there's level of service B. So they got an advantage that they close, for example, a lane on the street, whereas we challenges there. So all of that is easy there, and we need the process to put up all the body needs to do private sector involved in our infrastructure as government. Otherwise, we're not going to do everything we need to do. Otherwise, you imagine the amount of and we know the social needs in the country and where the money needs to really go. So some of this thing that's still needed for economic growth, we have to really look at private.
So we hope in 4 years' time when we meet again in person as a group, Cornell will be telling us how the exit strategy went and what can we learn out of that to take the process forward. I'm sure Sam is bargaining to have this after 4 years. In 4 years' time. Okay. Are we done here? Can we go this way? Then go to the boss to say something here. And tell us in the news because you don't say anything about what you do. And I know I'm going to meet you somewhere who I'm going to embarrass you. And you know what to embarrass you. And they have embarrassed you. You know how many people are in the industry and how many countries are there. I'll qualify it. You want to say something?
I'm forced to say something. I'm not quite sure, but I believe that with the expansion of the REACH program, sometimes our stakeholders do not understand the role that other divisions within SAMRA play, and to find the balance between all. Sometimes I come in with these expectations that RRA needs to provide 1, 2, and 3. At the same time, it goes with us having this collaboration, because there's this perception that I represent Sanral in this, there's only one Sanral. And we should be talking from the same point. The dynamics that are the same dynamics we are facing within pushing of the program. And if we could find that balance, it's easier to manage other stakeholders to buy into whatever direction we want to go. And the goals, at the end of the day, it touches on resources, the allocation of